The charred houses are only about 50 yards apart. The first one happened right here. Let me highlight the second one for you. It's just behind me. In fact, you can see it from here. Under the old permit, the group paid $30, and that got them a permit for up to 30 days, basically a whole month. The new permitting process is a $100 fee and at least a $500 refundable deposit. That could get the group 3 consecutive days. Police now tell us they do think they know the victim's name. All they're telling us right now, though, is that it is a man in his 20s, and he did not live at this apartment building right here behind me where he was shot and killed. In fact, just about 10 feet past that door where you see the officer standing is where that man lost his life. We actually have some brand new information for you. Literally within the last minute, state troopers just opened Route 4 southbound. You can see the backup here in the cars slowly making their way. In the daylight, it wouldn't be hard to spot someone over here. But this crime happened in the middle of the night. After that crash, though, the driver got out of the car and ran over here to this nearby cornfield. He was able to slip in between these stalks. Troopers lost him, and he was able to get away. The victim says that he and his girlfriend were in a car on I-70 when another driver tried to drive around them, and that led to screaming. And that other driver eventually got out of his pickup truck, went up to the car the victim was in, bashed in the passenger side window, and beat up the guy who was sitting right there in that seat. The game seemed destined to be memorable.
It is an electric night here tonight.
A pair of powerhouse high schools faced off for the first time in 16 years. Fans packed the stadium, hundreds watched in anticipation. Then watched.
And our head referee has gone down.
In disbelief.
I need a medic, an engine at Bishop Hartley High School football field. We have a cardiac arrest on the field here.
Julius Palazzo refereed football nearly 40 years before this night, before he collapsed during the second quarter.
And he fell in a straight out motion.
He wasn't breathing.
Totally out, not just fainting.
Columbus firefighters Mark Williams and Rich Richardson were off duty but rushed the field anyway. They joined a team doctor and other paramedics in a life or death game plan.
I started helping doing chest compressions.
And I started ventilations.
The referee's heart stopped. Medics shocked him with the defibrillator and hoped.
Clear?
Within minutes.
He took one big breath, he opened up his eyes.
You're just saying, man, I'm lucky to be here.
Palazzo was alive.
I just remember things going kind of fuzzy and my legs kind of buckled and then down.
The referee's recovering after a successful double heart bypass. Palazzo's prognosis looks good. He's already up to walking more than 20 minutes a day and hopes to be back on the field someday.
From what the doctors tell me, if things go according to plan, I'll feel better than I ever did.
He has piles of support.
Has all the players, a lot of the players' signatures here.
And even more faith. Palazzo says he's a devout Catholic. This game was between Bishop Watterson and Bishop Hartley, both Catholic schools. Just imagine all the prayers in the stands.
I think somebody heard those prayers.
He also wants to thank his earthly helpers.
And I know they'll say it's part of the job.
It's just our job.
I don't like to think of myself as a hero.
They'll be my heroes forever.
A game to remember.
Yeah, I guess if it's going to happen, that's the night to happen.
For a reason no one expected. Mike McCarthy, ABC 6 News. In an instant, driver slid out of a mundane Monday, off the road and into fear.
It was real scary, sir. I mean, yeah, it had me in tears.
Scary. We thought we was going to go down in that water there.
Ice quickly covered this bridge over Big Walnut Creek during morning rush hour, even when some drivers noticed.
You could see it was a sheet of ice.
it was too late.
As soon as my truck started,
Kathy Layers,
moving, it was like, uh-oh. And then next thing you know, it really went into the,
has a hard time
and I'm trying to.
describing when she lost control, almost hitting our camera. We first went to Alum Creek Drive after one driver hit the guardrail. While we were live, the road got worse. We've seen multiple cars here spin as you see that truck doing right now. That is the big danger. Danger that led us to witnessing 5 crashes in a half hour.
I slowed down and hit my brakes, and the guy bumped me in the rear end. And next thing I know, it caused me to spin out to a figure 8. Heading the wrong way.
Even after the crashes were hauled away, the aftermath of the morning mess still here. Ugh. You can see it in these chunks of dirt as big as my head and in these huge ruts drivers made as they slid off the road and into the ditch. Cops say no one was seriously hurt and some drivers didn't bother to hang around. We called Franklin County for a salt truck. That and the sun melted the ice.
I just want to go home.
But not the anxiety for drivers caught off guard. Mike McCarthy, ABC 6 News.
They took my big brother, my mom's oldest son. It's not fair.
The tears
It's not fair.
were tough enough the first time, but heartache has come to this porch, has come to the Campbell family again.
I'm just sick. I don't understand why it's my mom's kids.
I am more angry and pissed off than anything.
Columbus police found 30-year-old Justin Campbell shot lying near the intersection of Miller and Livingston Avenues last night.
This is a picture of me and my dad.
The father of 2 young girls died.
He was funny. He used to play with me. He let me go bike riding with him when he was riding his bike.
He wasn't a bad son. He didn't run around picking on people or starting trouble.
Justin was the second sibling in his family gunned down within 3 years. Family members say his brother, Matthew Campbell Davis, was murdered days before Christmas in 2009. No one has been charged in that crime.
To have to go through this again, it makes it 10 times harder.
And again, the shooter got away. Police and family members say they don't know why this latest shooting happened.
Whoever did it, God will serve justice. So I hope they're ready.
A family, once again, left with tears, but also with hope.
I really hope justice be served on this one.
Mike McCarthy, ABC 6 News.
Nice to see you this morning.
St. Paul's Lutheran Church is filled with love.
Nice to see you today.
Love for one another, love for faith, and love for music.
Grand sound. Just a neat sound.
For Keith Becker, love starts early. He arrives with the sun. Sunday mornings,
it's a real joy for me.
Kicks off his boots, and he's ready to play.
You can really get rocking and rolling with the thing. It's really fun to play. Yeah, really, really neat.
The Thing is a historic Hinner's pipe organ.
I call it the grand old baby.
And Baby has piped hymns from the same spot since 1903.
I don't think I'm going to be functioning the way this thing it still functions at 109.
The congregation paid a little less than $1,000 for the organ. Today, that adds up to about $26,000 with inflation.
It's an important part of the church, I think, really.
I think it's fantastic.
The tunes have changed, but the organ hasn't much. Sitting down at this organ is really like turning back in time. Nearly the entire thing is in its original historic condition, including the foot pedals. Sure, some parts have been replaced, but organ enthusiasts called this instrument in this shape unique in Central Ohio.
I have found old historic organs, but they have been overhauled, added on to.
I like it just the way it is. I guess it's because we're getting old and we don't like to make changes.
The organ's not much older.
The good Lord's taken care of me all these years.
Than 104-year-old Helen Krause.
As a child growing up, I always liked that song we had today.
She loves to hear her favorite hymn. Jesus Loves Me. Hearing the organ helps forge her faith.
It sort of brings you into the service. It's like a leader, like a pastor.
As I say, let the old baby go and have fun with it.
Becker's not afraid to modernize some melodies.
If I can inspire people, that's what it's all about.
Till next Sunday, when lyrics and love will be shared again. In Prospect, Mike McCarthy, ABC 6 News.